Yesterday I was coming down past the pond. I noticed in the corner that the water was within a few inches of going over the berm. So I came over to check the outlet pipe, which is right over here. And this thing was jammed full of weeds and seaweed type of stuff from the muskrats. Apparently they wanted the water level higher, almost like a beaver does. So they shoved, that was jammed like 4 feet down that pipe. So I had to get that cleared out, and I'll bet you it took a few hours for the pond level to go down to what it should be. The pipe goes underground, comes out right over here. This is the outlet. Pipe comes out right under there. So we got that taken care of. Shall we?
See the cows? They're watching us.
There they are. Go up and check them soon. Nice white oak. Still holding on to its leaves.
It's March, February.
We're going to take a look at the spring water. Lots of springs this time of year coming out of the hillsides. There's one right here. You see the head of it there where it's all the rock. And there's another one that was right up there to the left of that tree. I dug into the spring, filled it with gravel, and put a perforated pipe in it. See the overflow comes down here. Oh, it's still muddy under this snow. Here's where the spring water comes out. See, it's got a little stuff growing in it. So this pipe, it's actually exposed right there. The pigs really ripped this up this summer. You have to rebury the pipe. Spring is right up there in front of that tree where the head comes out. So we just laid this 300-gallon tank here. And there's the outlet pipe. So it doesn't overflow. Pipe goes down, is buried. Comes out in the woods back behind that brush pile. It flows, I'd say, 2/3 of the year. There's been times in the summer, if we have a real wet summer, I mean, it'll keep going, but definitely fall, winter, into the spring. And depending on the moisture in the summer, it typically goes dry though. Here's one of our deer stands. That's been there, probably 20, 22 years. It's right beside a great big old white oak, which has seen better days. It's probably 5, 6 years ago, the tree split, and it just missed taking out the deer stand. You can see the old deer stand that was there first. My brother and his son used to always sit in that. I don't think a squirrel could barely sit in that anymore without it falling down. Speaking of falling down, be careful.
Yeah. It's like a...
It's a good spot to sit hunting deer.
Or just sit.
You see good view of that field. And then down. into the woods. Actually even have a shooting lane that goes down even to the edge of the swamp down there. Walking down to check the old beaver pond that's down here. I know the dam blew out a few years back. Go back and see what it looks like now. It used to be loaded with wood ducks in the evening. They used it as a roost because it was like all flooded brush. First thing in the morning, they'd fly back out, but there was hundreds of them. Old deer stand. I don't know if you can make it out. Make out the horizontal board there. Used to sit in that a lot back then. These pine trees were about 3 feet tall. It's something to come back here and see that they're probably 30 feet tall, if not more. Go look to see what activities down in the swamp. Caught a big bobcat one year right by that tree stump. It wasn't seasoned, so let him go. When we let him go, he actually almost ran our son. Was it Paul or Luke? Bobcat almost ran right between his legs almost. Remnants of the winter berries. They're pretty. They're all shriveled up now. Oh, it looks like the wood duck box fell off the tree. I have a few wood duck boxes back here. I haven't checked these in some time. Get them back up in the next month or so. See if we get some ducks back in them. It's been a while since I've been back here. This used to be the beginning of the dam right here, and this whole area was all flooded. You see one of the other duck boxes. Right there. Still a little bit of a pond in here, but it's been a long time since the beavers have maintained anything. Yeah, you see the big. Actually, you know what? I think there's a beaver dam further down there. Because I'm walking across the top of what was the old beaver dam. You see it's all blown out in the middle, but this used to be about a 3-foot drop off the back. Ooh, this is mushy. Yeah, actually there is. I think, or no. Oh no, I'm not walking back in there without waders on. I'll have to check on that. I think there's beavers further down in the swamp now. The old lodge used to sit right where that tree stump is. Just to the side of it. I actually saw otters down here after the beavers moved out. 2 otters were down in here one spring day. Bunch of muskrats. All right. Winter gets old and you can't wait for spring, but there is some beauty in winter, especially right after a fresh snowfall. These winter berries are neat. In the fall, they're really brilliant. They're kind of muted now and shriveled up.
That's how we are as we age.
Muted and shriveled up.
Yeah.
Speak for yourself. Here's a big old red oak that is pretty much on its last leg. You can see, oh wow, even those limbs up there are dead. We first moved here, well, I think, well, 1995, what's that, 27 plus years ago. There was like one dead limb on it, but I'd say that tree's got to be a few hundred years old. It's probably 4 feet across. Stace can go stand by it to give you a comparison of how big this thing is. But it's a shame at the end of its lifespan. I mean, you can see how big this tree is. It's easily 4 feet across. This is probably saw the first white man walk through the area, because it's got to be a few hundred years old being an oak. It's seen the first airplane fly overhead, a witness to a lot of history. The people back in the 1800s clearing the woods and building these field stone walls. I guess that's why everybody had a dozen kids back then. Because our house was built in 1876. It started out as a logging, a residence to house loggers in. And then the barn, I found the cornerstone for the barn, and it had the date chiseled into it. That was 1894, so I'm assuming at first the logging companies came through the area, cleared the woods, and as they moved on, farmers moved in and then started clearing the stumps and trying to get a plow into the ground around here. And these stone walls are a result of them trying to clear the fields. I mean, there's everything from small rocks to big rocks, and this is all done by hand and with horses. And it's amazing that they're even, you know, standing to the extent that they are. Some of them have fallen over, but I guess the better built ones, they've withstood the test of time. You figure this has probably been standing here since the 1890s. Pretty neat. The remnants of the kids' paintball field. We used to play paintball back here and built little forts and bunkers and stuff. There she is. Not a whole lot of life left in it, but it still gets some leaves on it. All those open fields out there we don't own them, but we farm the ground. Pretty much everything you see out behind that farmstead and all those open fields there. Hay about 130 acres. Cheese.
Cheese.
Good morning, men. Nothing to say today? You seem pretty content.
Came up to see the girls. Hey, pretty girl. Hey, Frosty. Hey, Frosty. America's the first calf heifer. She'll be having her first calf here in the spring. I saw Paul walking around down there. I think he's warming up the skid loader to plow some snow. Paul's up cleaning the driveway. That skid loader was such a good investment. So incredibly handy to have on the farm. It's actually fun to drive too. Sorry about that. It's not that we got a lot of snow, but he didn't want it to get icy underneath. I think he's heading to the neighbors now to do her driveway. Does a couple of the neighbors' driveways. Are out eating the pasture. Stinkers. Taking some hay up to the cows. The pastures are so muddy. Let me get this for him. Oh, I think he's gonna run it over to take it off. He is. Very smart. The pastures are so muddy that we don't want to take a tractor into the pasture, so he's gonna dump this over the side, and then he's gonna what's it called? Unroll it. The sun came out.
Drive the tractor in the field today because it's really wet, so
I already told them.
This will work.
Yeah, it's gonna have to.
If I can get it flipped over now.
Do you want me to come and help you? Yeah.
You gotta get it rocking.
I know, but do you want to help me in? I have to go in. My legs aren't that high. You okay?
Yeah. Heavy.
Yeah, it is.
Move, dummy. You're not helping. Get out of my way. Move, dummy. Move.
Probably.
Oh yeah. Come on. Get going. Get going. Look at their backsides. She's like, what? You talking about me? She's a pretty girl, 1846.